What's up, YouTube? On today's episode of Cooking Q&A with Dr. T, I've got Kelly Cook, who is a Twin Cities musician and entrepreneur and owner of Twin Cities Drum Collective. Today, we are making a big, beautiful, hearty bowl of pho, so stay tuned and watch us cook something awesome. Twin Cities Drum Collective, the premier drum shop in all of Minnesota. Located in the historic Thorpe building of Northeast Minneapolis, this store has risen to prominence and become a cornerstone of the Twin Cities music community in only a couple of years. Visionary founder Kelly Cook has utilized his skills in carpentry and construction management to build this business and develop a cult-like following that stretches nationwide. From humble beginnings, Kelly has overcome adversity to become not only a shrewd businessman, but also a kind and honest human being. And now Kelly joins me to cook the food of my people, pho. Welcome back to Dr. T's Cookbook of Awesomeness. Here's another episode of Cooking Q&A. Today, my guest is Kelly Cook of Twin Cities Drum Collective.
How's it going, everybody?
Now, Kelly is a Twin Cities entrepreneur.
That's what they tell me.
A musician.
And a musician. Well,
and a master drum builder.
Those are kind words.
And you're adept in commercial construction and in demand for consulting work as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, I do a variety pack of things, you know. My career path has led me down several roads that have afforded me some really cool, interesting opportunities, the latest of which is being an entrepreneur, owning a drum shop, you know, operating and building what I think are some of the world's best drums.
Awesome. So, Kelly, I know you like pho.
Love pho.
Okay, so can you tell me, do you remember the first time you had pho, where you developed this love?
So back when I used to do, when I had like, I don't want to say more professional day job, but when I was doing the commercial construction stuff and I was really learning that stuff, I had an employee that worked for me. His name's Jeffrey Forbes. And he was like my runner guy, like just kind of took care of all the different stuff. I ran a commercial construction crew for a long time. Anyways, his superpower seemed to be finding like the best food for a particular given set of circumstances. So say, for example, you just need a breakfast on a day and you're feeling a certain way. This guy just had magic where he could just like find like the best thing for you to eat. And so we were talking one day and he's like, well, have you ever had pho? And I'm like, no. He's like, oh man, I got this spot. And so we sat down and I had a bowl of their stuff and it was just like so good. It was so good. It was so good. It just, for me, it turned into a comfort food, right? I love Jeff, so I had that memory associated with that with him. And then like just going there, the way it made me feel, the people, I don't know if they were employees of the restaurant or owners of the restaurant, but there was this older Asian lady and like she was just super kind to me. You know what I'm saying? And like if I was like feeling sick or something, like that's like when I really fell in love with the stuff, because I'd go there if I had like a cold or something and I'd eat a bowl of this stuff and then she'd spice it up with all these spices and make it super spicy and bring it out to me and she'd be like, here, this will take care of you. And it was awesome.
Great. Like you said, it's comfort food, and this is the food of my people, the Vietnamese people.
Right.
So, you know, I didn't actually grow up eating this because I grew up with my mom, but, you know, whenever I visit my dad and that side of the family, this is always something that was eaten, and it's so comforting because it's not like a dinner food or a lunch food. It's an anytime food. I actually eat this for breakfast, for brunch.
Right.
But today, and let me actually talk about pho a little bit for anyone who's watching and doesn't know what pho is. It's a soup made with a beef broth. Now, traditionally, it's made with beef bones and like brisket and other types of beef, and it's slow simmered for 12 to 24, even sometimes 48 hours. Now, we're not going to take that much time today, obviously. We're going to make a quick version, a little shortcut version. That's going to take about an hour to make. So what we're going to start off with, actually, Kelly, is some of the veggies that we need for this broth. Right here, we've got some white onion, we've got a few knobs of ginger, and we've got a few cloves of garlic. And we're going to roast these up a little bit before we throw it in the bath here. So, Kelly, you want to give it a shot here?
I absolutely will.
Okay.
So here's the thing. What is this ready to cut, or do you have to like? Peel?
No, we don't have to. We don't have to peel it because we're not going to be eating this. We're going to
Okay.
pull it out before.
Oh, so it's just for flavor.
Yeah. So if you want to actually cut it this way,
Sure.
so we have a large, wide face to get all toasted up in the oven.
Hell yeah, dude. Nice knife.
There you
First
go.
off, in case anybody's watching, some corporate sponsorship.
Okay, now the onion, just quarter that up.
So quarter it up.
Yep.
How do you mean? Like just
Cut it in half and cut it in half again.
cuts like this, and then like this.
Yep. There you go. You can
Okay.
leave all the skin and everything on it.
Okay.
There we are. I'm just going to leave the cut side up. And then we're just going to smash those with the flat of the blade.
Right.
Just give it a... Well, that's fine.
I'll put some weight into it.
Yeah, that's fine. But here's a tip. There you go.
Oh,
Just give it a smack.
it's a smack.
Yep, just like that. Cool. So that's basically all we got to do here. And we're just going to take this is just a little canola oil. We're just going to throw it on top of our veggies.
Why do you choose canola oil?
So canola is a very neutral tasting oil. And again, it's got that high smoke point. So we're just going to put this under the broiler for a few minutes so it gets kind of browned and stuff on top. And it brings out some of those flavors from the ginger, onion, and garlic.
Dude, I can't wait until I get to see you on like MasterChef or something. It's gonna be rad.
All right, Kelly. Now this next portion here is we're going to toast these spices. And we're going to lightly toast these spices in a dry cast iron pan. And we're just going to toast them until they become aromatic.
Okay.
What the toasting does, it just helps bring out the natural oils and all these different spices. And so that when we put it into the broth, those flavors will come out a little bit more prominently than if we just chucked them in on their own. So if you just want to dump in our spices right there, that's whole coriander.
Right.
So coriander is the seed of the cilantro plant.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I didn't know
coriander and cilantro are the same thing. That's Star Anise.
Right.
We've got a Black Cardamom Pod. We've got clove. And we've got cinnamon stick.
Cinnamon.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's already starting to smell really good.
We just want to keep them moving. We don't want them to just sit there and get brown. We just want to get them heated up so those natural oils start to get aromatic. And you can already smell that coriander.
Yeah.
You can smell the clove and the Star Anise. Yeah, this is actually just like the bark of a tree.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For real, that's what cinnamon is?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, look at it. Yeah, it's just the bark of whatever plant it comes from.
Dude, I wonder if I could get it in a veneer. Like,
I don't know.
I
Is this
wonder
something that you
wonder-
could use to make a drum out of? I mean,
well, I don't know. Dude, if it's a tree, then I'm sure that somebody somewhere has cut it into something.
well, we'll
So
have
if
to
I
give
can-
it a.
If I can find out what kind of tree that is, that might be kind of fun, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a tree or at least some sort of woody plant because, as you can see, it's pretty.
Yeah.
It looks like just regular bark. So that's basically all we need to toast these up. I mean, we can really smell them.
Yeah.
So we're gonna turn that off. I've got this handy dandy cheesecloth bag. So instead of having to strain all that stuff out later, we can just
Oh, I got
put
you.
it into the little baggie.
I see that.
Okay. All right.
Cool, man.
Then we just pull it closed. And we'll be just dropping this into our pot. All right, Kelly. So our vegetables have been toasted here in the oven under the broiler.
Toasted vegetables.
And we took our spices and we toasted those up as well. So now it's time just to get everything into the pot.
Let's put it in the pot, man.
Okay. So first off, let's actually just throw these in here. We've got our ginger. We've got onion.
I used to, when I'd watch cooking shows, think that like how the host and everybody would always be talking about like how amazing everything smells. You know, like it was just kind of contrived. Like, oh my God, it smells so amazing. This is the most, but it really does smell good. And I know they say that afterwards too, but it really does smell good.
Yeah, you just have to take their word for it on TV. Like, oh, it smells amazing. It tastes amazing. It could just taste like crap. You don't know. And then our garlic. I'm just going to toss that in there as well. Okay. And at the end of this, we'll be straining this so we won't have all these big chunks in here, of course. So the last couple things here, Kelly, I'll let you throw in the beef base.
This? Okay.
Yep, that's beef base. Just go ahead and spoon that in there. And this recipe actually scales really well. You can do like just a couple, 2-3 bowls with 1 quart of water. Here we've just quadrupled it to make 4 quarts worth.
What's this last stuff?
Okay, so this is rock sugar, yellow rock sugar. So as you can see, it's a big chunk. It looks like a big crystal you'd find in the ground or something. But it's just sugar. You can use regular granulated sugar, but I like to use, this is the authentic stuff.
Okay.
So we just toss a couple cubes in there. And then we're going to throw this into the bath. And we put this in the, again, in the cheesecloth bag so we can just pull it right out. And
it's fantastic.
Down right in there. Again, you can smell all those flavors coming in.
Yeah. It does. It really does smell good. Yeah, man.
So while we're waiting for this to simmer and cook on us, why don't you tell us about Twin Cities Drum Collective? I'm wearing my TCDC shirt here underneath my apron. So I'm a big fan of the drum shop. So this is probably what most people know you for, right? Is the drum shop.
Well, let's hope so. Twin Cities Drum Collective is a retail and manufacturing entity that I started with my business partner Lane Peterson a little over 2 years ago. I've always played drums. I mean, ever since I was a young kid, and I've always been kind of mechanically minded. I've always loved building stuff, and so it just at one point in time decided that I wanted to learn how to build these things like long times ago. And Twin Cities Drum Collective is really just kind of the culmination of like all of my experiences and learning, being a project manager, doing commercial construction, and being a woodworker, having gone to school, learn how to be a furniture maker, and then putting my passions together and all of that stuff. And I just had the opportunity to start my own business where I could do what I wanted to do and build drums the way that I thought, with my vision, you know what I'm saying? And then have a drum store. I have loved drum shops my entire life, and I think they're a lot of fun and fantastic. And it's just my life's passion, and I'm trying to make some money doing it.
That's awesome. Now tell me, how do you get to learn how to build drums? That's not an everyday off-the-shelf skill. That's pretty specialized. How did you get into that?
Well, it's kind of like anything. So when I was in my early 20s, I had learned furniture making as like a skill, and with any skill, like fabrication skill, you just learn how to do things, right? And from there, you just figure out, oh, I need to create this kind of cut. I need to use this kind of machine. And then, and then there's just a lot of trial and error involved in what works good and the things that are important. You know what I'm saying? What actually affects how things perform the way that they perform, like what's important and all that kind of stuff, when it comes to the durability of your instrument, the longevity of the instrument, how people use it, how people, interact with it, all of that kinds of stuff. I became able to do it because it was a skill that I wanted to develop, and it was something that I just wanted to figure out how to do. So I set about learning how to do it, and through trial and error, I figured out how to do it. And I think that people have been responsive to the fact, because I feel like we build a pretty top-notch product, comparative to the rest of the marketplace. Even within the big manufacturers, I think there's some things that we do really, really well and better than some people in some cases.
Well, I would certainly agree with you. Now, one thing I'd like to kind of talk to you about is being an entrepreneur in some of these trying times. As we know, we've got the COVID pandemic going on, and that certainly affected retail shops such as yours. And then, of course, we've had the civil unrest with the protests and rioting and everything here in the Twin Cities. That's been going on as well. So tell me how that's affected your business and things like that.
Well, COVID shut us down. We had just moved from location. We just moved from South St. Paul to our new location in Minneapolis, and we were open for like 3 weeks, and we had to shut down until mid-May or something like that. And so, if you're a retail shop and you're not open and you can't engage with your customers, you can't make money. You know what I'm saying? So, fortunately for us, we were in a relatively good financial position where we could where we had a little bit of flexibility when it came time to dealing with that stuff. So we were fortunate. But it's difficult, man. It's because you're just watching all of the stuff that you had worked really, really hard to achieve just kind of flutter away. You end up losing your momentum. So it's challenging in a couple of ways. It's challenging in the fact that you have to be creative about the way that you manage your finances in the day-to-day of the business. How am I going to make this stuff work? If I can't do it in the ways that I've traditionally done it, how else am I going to engage my customers? So you're forced into being creative, and you're forced into having to do different things on the fly, and that learning curve is happening right now when we speak. That's challenging. It's challenging from a mental sort of standpoint. Like I said, you put all this effort into it, and now due to circumstances that are just beyond really anybody's control, things just are what they are, and having the stick-to-itiveness or the mental fortitude to even though it seems like things might be a little bit pointless, right? Man, is this stuff ever going to end? What can possibly happen next? Just keeping a positive mental attitude through all that stuff can be a real challenge, because the world is kind of topsy-turvy right now. I think that there's a lot of things in society that are being addressed that finally need to be addressed. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of difficult conversations that people are having, right now, and so there's just a lot of tension in the air. There's a lot, so it's tough. You do your best every day. You try and put one foot in front of the other and do your work with integrity and treat people with decency, and hope that the karma of those two actions kind of pays off, in rewarding your business with customers and cash flow.
You've done a really great job at building a client base and reaching out to the community. You guys have done the drum set karaoke. You've done different workshops and trade shows and stuff like that. So you've got a pretty good following. How did building up that following over the last couple of years help you through these tough times when you've had to be shut down?
Oh, well, customers, there were people who just were fans of the things that we did, right? And fortunately, some of those people had the means to come in and support us directly, right? There were guys that were like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is happening right now. I want to buy a snare drum. You know what I'm saying? And that happened, that happened quite a bit. Um, Dave King, you know, he's one of our endorsers. He's a Minneapolis musician, you know, coming through and doing, you know, some special performances for us that we could, you know, engage our customers with and our people with. And, you know, that, yeah, everybody, I don't know, man, like everybody has been supportive. You know, people have reached out to ask, you know, if there's anything that they can do. People have reached out and bought stuff. People have told other people about the things that we do. I mean, part of getting through this is, you know, like we're a Minnesota company, but our Instagram page is nationwide, you know, so like there's been people who have reached out from the East Coast that have bought stuff. There's been people that have, you know, live down south that have reached out and bought stuff for us. So, you know, it's been good in the fact that it's allowed us to kind of expand our, you know, footprint, so to speak, in terms of, you know, telling people about our product and, you know, who we are and all of that kinds of stuff. And then through that, it's just created sales opportunities that, you know, feed the business the things that it needs to stay going. You know, that's money. You know?
Yeah, so just a lesson, you treat your community well and you engage with them and you become a part of the community at large, and they give it back to you when you need it the most.
You would think that would be like life 101 stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? Just be nice to people and they'll be nice back to you. At least you would hope. You know? Yeah.
Well, it's rule number 1: don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't be any more simpler than that. I think. You know, if everything, like whatever you're doing, just don't be a dick. You'll be good.
Great. With that, we're going to make a little cut here, and we're going to let this simmer. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour to let these flavors develop. So we're going to let this continue to cook, and Kelly and I are going to make some spring rolls while we wait.
It's going to be fantastic.
Be right back. We're back, and we're letting the pho simmer over on the stove. And so we had a little extra time. We thought, why not make a few spring rolls? I've already made a spring roll video, so I'll put a card up on top here so you can click on that link so you can watch that video at your leisure. But Kelly and I, we're going to just dive into this. Now, spring rolls are basically rice paper as your wrapper, and then we're going to shove a bunch of vegetables and some really tasty shrimp here. As you can see, we've got our smorgasbord of veggies, shrimp, and then we've got bunch of noodles. So, to begin, Kelly, all we gotta do is take this. As you can see, it's pretty brittle, right? It's dry, it's brittle.
I've never seen rice paper not in a spring roll. It's the first time I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's how it comes. And all you gotta do is a little water. Just get there.
That's crazy.
And you don't have to wait for it to get soft because it will continue to get soft. So let's just throw it down on there. Now we just want to put it in our ingredients and roll it up like a burrito.
All right.
So we've got Vietnamese mint. And let me pull this up for the viewers at home. We've got Vietnamese mint. We've got Thai basil. We've got carrot. We've got cucumber. And we've got shrimp that we're going to be rolling up in here, along again with our rice stick noodles. And these noodles, we just prepared them according to package instructions.
Fair enough.
Okay, so, and you don't have to stick with these ingredients. You can choose whatever you like. If you like some, butter lettuce, I've used that before. If you like, instead of shrimp, if you want to use that fake duck stuff or meatballs, whatever you like. This is really up to you. Right. Just like a burrito. Choose what you want. But, Kelly, I'm going to instruct you on how to construct this roll. So let's start off with the leafy greens there. So we've got mint and basil. If you want to grab a few of those leaves and use that as our base. And actually try to stay towards the bottom third.
Okay.
I'd say.
So like right there?
Probably down here.
Okay, this way.
Yep.
That's the top third. Okay.
Yep, that way when we roll it up, we'll roll it forward.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yep, and
put a little more there.
That's maybe a lot of mint.
Is it?
Because we got basil here too. So go ahead and grab some of the basil. Just pluck off some of those leaves.
Okay. I've never been very good with proportion, I suppose.
Hey, and there's no wrong way to do this, man.
Right?
If you find out that you really love that mint,
put it in there?
Yeah.
we might just find out that that's what I really like. All right, so I feel like that's pretty good because I love basil too.
Okay, cool. So we're just gonna pile it up here.
Yep.
Now some cucumber and carrot on top of that.
Like behind it, like this.
Right on top.
Right on top.
Right on top.
All right. Some carrot.
There we go. Just like that.
Right. Oh, it smells so good.
And then we'll get some noodle. Now I'll help you out with the proportion here because these are a bit sticky and are a pain in the butt to work with. But something akin to that.
Okay.
More or less. And we're gonna shove that on top.
Okay.
Now lastly, the shrimp. Now the shrimp we're gonna put in a row right in front.
Okay.
The reason we do that, we want to showcase those shrimp. When you roll it up, that way when it's in front like that, it gets wrapped up and you can see it real nice.
All right. So I feel like that's pretty good.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
So now what I'd like to do is first pull in the ends a little bit.
Ah.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
And then I'll let you start from the bottom and roll it up like a burrito. Just trying to keep everything inside. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay if it spills out. I mean, it's gonna taste the same, right?
Right. Dude, I just made my first spring roll.
There you go.
Oh, that's fantastic. Should I put it on a plate? Like, I feel like I should display it something. Look at this. Look at this. It's like gourmet. Like.
Yeah, not too bad. It could have gotten a little bit tighter, but other than that, pretty good.
I feel like I did pretty good for my first one.
Yeah, excellent.
It's holding its shape. All right, let's see what you got, Dr. T.
Okay, so I'll make one. But while we're talking here and cooking, why don't you tell me about your construction experience? Because I think that's really interesting.
Well, so like I said, I had learned furniture making as a trade, and I was working in the trade show industry. I worked for a company that used to build big booths for like just large corporate clients for just various trade shows. And, I felt like I wasn't really getting as far along in life as I wanted there. And I had a friend of mine that ran a union commercial construction company, and he got me sponsored in to the company as a carpenter apprentice. And so then I had just spent, I don't know, the next 5 or 6 years or something like that, being an apprentice carpenter and going through the apprenticeship program and becoming a journeyman carpenter, and then working my way up on into at least job site leadership. I was a foreman for a while. About 2011, 2012, I had, was just looking to kind of like up my professional game a little bit, and found an opportunity through a local millwork shop. Yeah, see, look, his is much nicer than mine. And so I'd actually gone to this place called Aaron Carlson that's unfortunately no longer in business, and had applied for a spot in their shop. And it just so happened that the day that I had walked in there to apply for that, one of their project managers had decided to quit. And for whatever reason, me and the guy that was interviewing me, his name was Ron McGinnis, I don't know, he must have saw something in me or thought that he saw some leadership aptitude or liked the experience that I had, and thought that I might make a good go at being a PM, and they asked me to come back for a second interview. So I came back for a second interview, and I met with all the important people that ran the company, and they had extended me an opportunity to be a millwork PM, and that's kind of where things really started out. And then within that company, I had opportunities were given me to grow and develop my skill set as a more executive type manager, and I started running one of the divisions of the company and earned myself like a general manager title. And I did that for a long time, and was able to be a part of a lot of really, really, really cool spaces here around town that a lot of people have been at. So
yeah, tell us about those, because I know you have some stories. I want to hear about.
So things that I don't want to make it sound like I was directly responsible for anything, because those these projects that I'm talking about, it requires lots and lots and lots of people who are skilled in a variety of ways to make these things happen, right? So things that you can see around town that I've had my hands be part of a significant part of how it's done. So like the new Ordway Center for Performing Arts. I did a ton of work in there. The JW Marriott down at the Mall of America, I've done that. Lowe's Hotel, Minneapolis, did that. There's just the new HCMC Cancer Center Hospital thing that just got done a few years ago. I did Top Golf up in Burnsville, I think it is. Just gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs of different places that I've had the opportunity to put my hands on and learn that stuff. It was a fantastic experience, man. It taught me a ton about communication. It taught me a ton about being professional. It taught me a ton about contract management. I mean, there's just it was a fantastic and extremely stressful experience all at the same time. I worked really hard when I was doing that stuff, a lot.
But as you said, it really helped you when it came to now owning and running a drum shop. So a lot of those skills kind of transferred and helped you be successful.
The one thing that being a project manager really taught me about was really defining like expectations, right? When you're doing construction, I always try to make an analogy about trying to make a peanut butter sandwich, right? You're like trying to get 15 people all to make the same peanut butter sandwich. Everybody's got a different part, right? One person's got to be responsible for buying the peanut butter. One person's got to be responsible for buying the jelly. Somebody buys the bread. Somebody has to put the whole thing together. Somebody has to, like all that stuff. And so what I really learned about was just managing like expectations, and stuff like that. So that when I'm talking to people, we're both on the same page about what it is that I'm providing and what it is that you're getting, which is, I think it's huge, especially in the retail world. I think that there's been a lot of people that have been a victim to kind of the bait and switch, so to speak. I bought this and I was expecting this, but I ended up getting this whole other thing. And it really, if you can't do that stuff effectively, it really diminishes your ability to have any sort of decent reputation. And I think that having integrity about your word and maintaining that stuff and just being honest and upfront with people and communicating in that way it's just the way the business should be done, and that way everybody walks away from the table feeling like everybody walks away from the table understanding what they got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so having to explain all that stuff, having to understand what people needed 5 steps down the road, having to, and then the nuts and bolts of running something. I bought, you're a customer and you bought something for X amount of dollars. It cost me X amount of dollars to produce the thing. I'm responsible for making X amount of profit, right? Because that's what we're in business for. Like we make money, and having to look at all that stuff, and then problems happen. Materials might not be available. Schedules change. Plans change. All of that kinds of stuff. Being able to manage all of those sorts of moving pieces, and still landing at the target or as close to it as you possibly could, is what that part of my career development, so to speak, kind of taught me.
Wow. Well, that's certainly a really interesting journey that you've had, and I just feel like it's really, really cool how you've been able to, start off with some carpentry work, making furniture, going to construction, drum building, owning your own shop. How you've been able to build on previous skills and just grow as a human being and become so successful.
Well, I don't know if I call myself successful, man. I feel like I suppose I am. Anytime where you get to wake up and do the thing that you really love and make some money at it, where you can take care of yourself, I think is definitely a certain measure of success.
Not to interrupt you, because this is
No,
great conversation, but we are going to make a little bit of a dipping sauce for our spring rolls. Got some chunky peanut butter and some hoisin sauce. And we're just going to mix these two together.
Oh, I thought that was going to be a lot tougher. It's just straight peanut butter in there, man.
Well, it's actually the super chunk.
Yeah, well, it's super chunk peanut butter.
So people often use like the creamy stuff,
right,
and then put crushed peanuts on top.
Sure.
That's kind of how it's traditionally done.
Right.
But we'll just cut out the middleman, right?
Right. And then that's how you thin it up, is just a little water.
A little water. Thin it out a little bit, so we get the consistency we want.
Yeah, I think you might be going to want to throw a little more of that stuff in there, not the water, the hoisin.
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect.
Hoisin sauce is just kind of, people refer to it as the, Asian barbecue sauce.
I love it.
It's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
For me, when it comes to Asian sauces, I mean, you got to have hoisin on hand.
Right.
Soy sauce, of course, the nectar of the gods. Being Vietnamese, I got to have some fish sauce in the house.
I like the spicy chili paste.
Absolutely. The garlic chili sauce is my favorite. People always love sriracha. I'm not the biggest on sriracha, but I love the garlic chili paste. And I've actually made my own.
I like the garlic chili paste because, like, the sriracha, like, sometimes it feels like, well, I don't know, and I don't know how garlic chili paste is made, but sometimes the vinegar, like, it doesn't taste like there's like a whole ton of vinegar in it. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the sriracha is.
Yeah, the sriracha definitely. Well, it depends on what kind of sriracha you've got too. Most people are familiar with the Hoi Fong brand, which is made in California, and I actually picked up some Shark brand recently at the store, which is a Thai brand. It's imported, so it's actually authentic kind of stuff that comes directly from Thailand. This is still a little thick.
Right.
Yeah. And this is just kind of a, we go at it until it's the right consistency and the right flavor.
That's probably all right. Yeah.
So
Well,
let's
it's
take
spicy.
Yeah, that's good.
Can I eat a spring roll?
You want to start? You want to go at it right away? You don't want to wait?
No, dude, I don't want to wait.
Okay, let's do the one that you made. Let's
Should we cut it in half?
Yeah, we'll cut it in half.
Oh yeah, dude. Right on. I'm gonna actually do this, being as we're kind of dipping from the same. Mmm.
My favorite part is the contrast in texture. You got the crispy cucumber and carrot, and then you got the softer noodle, and then you just got the fresh, bright flavor from the mint and the basil. It's amazing.
It is good.
That's the stuff. Oh yeah. And even when it's messy and falling apart, still good. Oh.
Oh, big bite in my mouth.
Okay. So, I think we're a good spot here. Our broth is almost done.
Alright.
So, we're going to make a cut here. We're going to strain out this broth. And then we'll do our final seasoning. Then we can work on plating up our bowls.
Perfect.
Okay, so hang on just a second. More with Kelly Cook. Right, final step. We just need to do our final seasoning, then plate up.
Heck yeah, man.
So we're gonna do a bit of salt here, and couple good pinches at least. Maybe 3. And we're gonna add in fish sauce.
Oh, this is that Shark brand stuff you were talking about?
No, that's the sriracha.
Oh, that's the Sriracha.
This is the Red Boat brand.
Okay.
I saw it in the store. It was really expensive. I thought, must be good, right?
Right.
Now I'm gonna put probably close to a 1/4 cup in here to begin with. Just give it a good stir.
I'm really looking forward to this.
Make sure everything's incorporated, and I'll often make this a little on the bland side, just so that other people might not like as much fish sauce or as much salt that I might like. So I try to be a little conservative with it, and people can add more directly to their bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the stuff.
Money?
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay. Maybe just a tissue. Okay. So now we're at the point where we need to construct our bowls. So we've got a couple bowls here, and then probably hard to see here, but we got some meats and some onion, and then we got some toppings over here. So I'll start. I like this is thinly sliced ribeye. I'm just gonna put a couple slices in here. This is raw in the ripping hot broth is going to cook it in the bowl. And then I got some meatballs. I made these meatballs myself. I'll post a link to the video up top here. You can click that card and go right to that video, and if you want to learn how to make these at home. And then I'm going to put some white onion. I like to put my white onion in before I put the broth because I like it to get cooked a little bit.
Yeah.
And now the key to this is making sure that your broth is just ripping hot, like a super rolling boil, because you want it to cook that meat, and you want a nice piping hot bowl of pho. You don't want a lukewarm bowl of pho. So just got a big old ladle here, and right over that raw beef. A couple ladlefuls is about
It's
right.
really about what you need. Oh man.
And I wish I could get a close-up here, but as soon as you pour that hot broth, it just cooks that meat instantly. It's so thin. Whew, Kelly, we are ready to eat. Finally, all that hard work. Now we've got, of course, we've got our spring rolls here. We've got a bunch of toppings, all the traditional toppings here. We've got cilantro, we've got bean sprouts, we've got the Thai basil, we've got some green onions, we've got jalapenos, we've got lime wedges. Then we've got our sauces, our hoisin, some garlic chili sauce here, and some Shark brand sriracha. This stuff looks really good. So, yeah, dig in, do whatever you like. So, Kelly, we're at the end here. We're eating. Everything tastes good so far.
Yes.
Is there any parting wisdom that you want to leave with us? Or
I don't know, man.
oh, that's good. Any plugs?
Yeah. I don't know. Just remember to be nice to people, to try and be compassionate and empathetic, support local business, wash your hands, enjoy the food, find a dog, pet it, enjoy the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, take the opportunity to hang out with some people who are doing cool things and do some cool things with them. Try something new, get some new experiences, have some perspective, get some perspective, try a different perspective. Work hard, have integrity, you know, all the basic stuff.
Words to live by, everybody. Words to live by.
The pho is very good.
I think we've had another successful cooking Q&A with Dr. T and our good friend Kelly Cook.
Thanks for letting me be here, man. This is fantastic. And I don't have to make dinner tonight.
Always love having you here with us. Love going to the shop. And if you ever need drums, anything you hit, slap, kick, throw, toss, or shake, hit Kelly up at Twin Cities Drum Collective.
tcdrumcollective.com. Thank you.
All right, guys. I'm going to turn off the camera now. We're just going to shove our faces. Talk to you later. Stay awesome.
Bye.
Awesome stuff.